go.
Yep.
Coach, start off with the obvious question. How nice is it to have a healthy Jason Henderson flying around?
It's about time. It's the day we've all been waiting for. He looks good. He knocked a little rust off, but, he's getting more and more into his playing shape, football shape as we call it. So he looks great. It's good to have him back.
That linebacker core, I know red zone defense was something you guys have been hanging your hat on for the past couple of years, and just the grittiness and the speed of that linebacker core, another really veteran. How exciting is that?
It's great. It's nothing. There's nothing better than having your leaders back. It allows us to do more on defense, be a little bit more multiple. So that's critical, but also just the leadership capacity of the off season coming up, the summer coming up, all those things, and they're pretty talented too. So that part's good.
Kind of piggybacking off that, do you guys feel, with all that in mind, do you feel like you're further ahead at this point than you were last spring?
We are. We definitely are. I think the experience back in linebacker really helps. We've got a lot of guys back in the secondary too. I think last year was a complete overhaul in the secondary. We've got guys back up front too, so we are definitely ahead.
One of the players was talking a minute ago about how the biggest difference between this team and past teams is how together everybody is. Are you seeing that and sensing that?
It's every day you see it. You see it starting in January, in off season, all through February, March, and then now that we put the pads on, they're playing real football, and you can just hear it in their voice, the energy of practice and everything. So it's a hard thing to build that camaraderie and culture every year with the new era of the portal, right? You got so many new faces coming and going, but you got to do it, So I think we talk about just being connected, spending time together outside of football. We try to do as much as we can as coaches, but you want them to take it over, and they've really done that. It's been fun to watch.
There was a period with this program where there was a turnover from year to year in the coaching staff. How nice is it to be able to have the continuity of, staying with the same players, staying with the same guys in the coaching staff?
Continuity is everything. It's hard, I think, with the portal nowadays, but we've been able to really fight through that and hang on to our best players. But, as hard as it is to lose good players, it's even worse to lose good coaches. And it just takes so much time to train up a new coach about how we do things schematically and all those things. So we've been blessed there. And Coach Wilson, came in the corner room. I've known him for a long time, so it's been plug and play there. It's been great.
The guys coming together, as you said, and playing for each other. Does that affect the kind of kid you recruit? Like you're looking for somebody who can just fit right into this?
Always. I mean, we've got a saying, here in recruiting is you cannot do enough research. You usually end up recruiting your problems most of the time. So they're still kids. Recruiting is not an exact science, but as much as it requires talent and all that, I think the character, the work ethic, the toughness, the discipline, consistent, accountable guys. That's what we're always looking for.
Where do you feel like this defense, so far early on in spring ball, is at its strongest?
I really think our depth. That's been the best part for me. I think we've always been talented but thin, and that's kind of always caught up to us. Late in the Sun Belt play, we get a few guys dinged up, and you're playing with some freshmen. So our depth at all levels of the defense, I think, is as good as it's been since I've been here.
The defensive line lost some experience from a year ago. How has that unit looked, and how are they responding to the new opportunities?
New starters, but guys that have been in the program have played a lot, which has been great. We rotated some guys up front. Coach Vic Araconzi's done a great job recruiting young high school players. A lot of people aren't recruiting high school players anymore. But, in the state of Virginia and the Carolinas, there's a lot of young D linemen that just need development. And Coach Snodgrass in the weight room has done a good job of putting 20, 30 pounds on these kids. And, if you look at our front, it's a good-looking front.
What do you see out of the secondary this year?
Experience is nice. We've got a lot of the guys that were true freshmen last year and learned a lot are back. They're talented, but having that year under their belt has been great to see. And then, of course, a guy like Pat Smith-Young and Mario Easterly that are just natural leaders coming into their own has been great to have back.
Obviously, in the secondary, you had a guy like Jerron Manning last year who was so productive, interception-wise, pass breakup-wise. What do you tell these younger guys now that want to maybe try to slide into a role like that?
Yeah, J-Man was a great player for us, but this time last year, he was just going through his 9th spring practice. You could see his instincts, you could see his awareness, but he was still trying to figure it out. And, I think that's kind of been Coach Rebstock's done in our safety room here is recruit talented guys, get them ready to play. They play well, and they have opportunities. So we've kind of shuffled that room around a little bit. Pat Smith Young is playing over there, so he's got good experience, and we've recruited some junior college guys behind him that can really play.
In the past, we've seen mobile quarterbacks kind of give the defense fits. How's it different now? You have mobile quarterbacks you get to go against in practice every day. How's that helping the defense?
It's great practice. The quarterbacks train with the linebackers, and we always joke they should be training with the DBs. They're so fast. I mean, Colton and Quinn especially. No, you can't simulate it with the scout team, right? So to get that every day with our good-on-good work is invaluable for us. And if you look at the Sun Belt, the mobile quarterbacks are always the teams that end up winning it or playing for the championship. So it's invaluable.
You guys are second or third. I haven't counted up to date in the number of players in the NFL and the Sun Belt. Is that something you talk about with recruits? I mean, everyone is going to play in the NFL. They're all going to play.
Yeah, I mean it's a great statistic. And I think if you also look at it, I think if you see how many guys that we've had here that are not only playing in the NFL, but we also have a lot of guys that are playing Power 4 ball that have been on our defense starting for us. So, it just proves the assistant coaches doing a good job, identifying talent, recruiting and developing.
Is the NFL as much of an issue with, or is it as important to recruits as it was 4 or 5 years ago before the transfer portal and all that?
It is. It's still important, no doubt about it. And I think, the thing we tell them is to get to the NFL, you got to play in college.
Yeah.
And there's only 11 starting spots on defense, doesn't matter where you are. And so, you're going to get the same exposure here that you can at any place because we're Division I, we're, big time Group of 5 football. But, yeah, it's still important. I'm glad these guys can make money in college. It's been a long time coming. A lot of them are making a lot of money in college, and I think that's kind of changed it a little bit because they're looking more at the short term. A few of the guys can't look long term, and I think they make some decisions off of that probably aren't in their long-term interest.
Jumping off that point, with the world and the portal right now, what do you think that says about how the defensive guys look at the outlook of what this team could potentially be, knowing that so many of them have been, sticking around and are young too?
Yeah, I mean, I think they all see what we're building here, and, we're so close, but the message is it's time to get over the hump, right? And you can just feel it with the connection and the work ethic and the camaraderie. But now we got to go do it.
So that is a talking point that you guys want to put together. It's been a while since we've had a winning season, and so it has been a talking point for you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. We didn't come here just to win a few games and make the bowl every so often. We came here to win championships, and we're a game or two away from being in that title game every year. So it takes a lot of things, and I think depth has really been the missing piece for us. In trying to retain some guys, and we've been able to build depth and retain some guys. So excited.
We've talked about the safeties, but there seems to be some opportunity for corners too. What can you tell us about that room?
A lot of opportunity at corner. It's wide open right now. We've got some transfers that are doing a good job figuring it out, but we've also recruited some freshmen that are really talented, and that's been something we haven't had in a while here, probably since Lamarion James, was the last freshman that came in and really became a good player for us. So Brandon Crutchfield, I think, is the name that everybody's going to learn real fast. He's doing a nice job.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. Good to see you.